The issues of representation and misrepresentation in media have been around for millennia. I'm not going to back that statement up with any research, but I'm pretty sure the Cult of Dionysus ladies probably felt some kind of way about being forbidden from taking part in the dramatic arts. But today I don't intend to bore you with the long exploitative history of minstrelsy, the blaxploitation era.
Who are you?
Me? I know who I am. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
What?
Oh, the Dolomite is my name, and up motherfuckers is my game.
Or any other movement that on its face served to improve the representation of minorities in popular or mainstream media that would now be classified as DEI woke nonsense.
Yeah, there's gonna be some bitches in there. You right. Respect the women, respect the women.
I want to talk about why some people who are disappointed or even angered by these inclusivity decisions aren't the insert preferred ist or ick here they're often painted out to be. Before we get to that, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. You know what, I'll even make you a deal. Subscribe now, and if you don't like what I have to say in this video or the next one, you can unsubscribe later. Okay, so I want to say up top, some of you guys are a little, we'll say overzealous in your reactions to a lot of this identity representation stuff. Representation is good and diversity is good, especially in visual media. I'd even go as far as to say it's most important in video games, but that doesn't mean everyone needs to be represented all the time. Take RPGs, for example. Actually, that's a little bit too broad, so let's split it up. Role-playing games, RPGs, I'm defining as games like Elder Scrolls or Cyberpunk or Mass Effect, where you create a character, at least physically, if not allowed to choose a backstory like in the Outer Wilds or something. Everything else that might classify as an RPG, I'll consider an RFG, or role-filling game. These are games like Yakuza or the Horizon series, where rather than creating a role for yourself, you're assigned a role and make choices based on the character you've been given. I feel like Mass Effect kind of qualifies as both, but I think this definition works fine for now. Having the ability to play as a cat and not a black guy would be ludicrous. At the very least, it might have saved many a career by allowing people to play out their blackface fantasy in a video game. You know, like a digital blackface. If you get that reference, you have to subscribe. Come on.
Have you ever used one of these GIFs? You may want to think twice before committing digital Jew face.
But anyway, these choices of inclusion gave minority players and women the sense of immersion that they otherwise wouldn't get from a game like Duke Nukem or Deus Ex. I know it's wild to put those two games on the same side in one sentence, but that's why I did it. Seethe. Editor's note, you can change your skin color in the first Deus Ex. Okay. But don't you want people who play the games you like to have the same immersive, potentially life-changing experience that you had when you were playing the game? The same could be said for the exact opposite of the decision to be inclusive. That's just one reason the collective power fantasies of Master Chief and Doom Guy are so universal. We never get to see them. We get to imprint ourselves onto them, so it really doesn't matter what they look like. The guy on the box is you. The guy in the cutscenes is you. You are Master Chief, and it's your job to turn grunts into confetti for Cortana's birthday. That is objectively better than whatever they're doing now. To quote a former cop and venture capitalist,
it's either all okay or none of it's okay.
Not to say all games must be inclusive to every identity group ever, but when allowing players to create a role for themselves in a holistic manner, they have to be given the choice to be exactly who they want to be. This is a universally understood concept. It's fine when Cyberpunk allows you to be a trans person, but when Starfield suggests you choose your pronouns, it's an outrage. Some of this is manufactured, and I'd argue that any and all outrage over Cyberpunk regarding this issue is manufactured. Some people didn't put together you can play as a trans person in Cyberpunk until I said it. I have not played Starfield. I do not like to waste my time. So instead, I chose to watch or listen to tens of hours of reviews and breakdowns of the game, and across a particular group of creators, the ability to choose your pronouns was a really big issue. It might not have made it into the final supercut, but it was definitely clear in their content at the time surrounding Starfield that this edition was an affront to them and gamers everywhere. I'm not calling anyone out because I don't have the mental energy to devote time to scrolling through all their content to find something. It's not that serious. They can be upset. They have the right to their opinion. I just personally think it wasn't really that big of an issue and they're being little babies about it. But I will say that I know that some of them weren't even creating content at the time Cyberpunk was released, so maybe they would have had similar critiques at the time. But so far, I've never heard it come up in any criticism on gender inclusivity that I've heard since. So why does Cyberpunk work when Starfield doesn't? And why isn't everyone a bigot for not liking the pronouns option in Starfield? Well, because Starfield's approach is an indirect beta cuck mess, while Cyberpunk just slaps you in the face with a nice big cuck. Let me explain. Like I said, I haven't played Starfield, but I've watched the playthroughs, and the way that Starfield presents the option to choose your gender is done in the same way a golf ball flies into your window. You immediately recognize the crashing glass, but when you look outside, no one's there, only to turn around and then trip on the ball and fall flat onto a bed of glass. And as the golf ball is now eye level, you just know that some asshole who could wipe their ass with the money it's going to cost to replace your window has just fucked with your shit for no good reason.
I don't like the looks of this guy. Leave him alone, will you? Listen, what am I paying my fucking dues for? This is my golf course. If I want to play here, I will play here. You understand? If he gets hit with my Titleist, that's his fucking problem. Don't yell at me. I'm just here playing with you. For Christ's sake, that's the boy. Far! Far!
What the hell are you trying to do? Killing me with a golf ball? Is that enough? You got all these beautiful Lakers fences for your little game, but you had to kill me with a golf ball? You should have children playing here. You should have families having picnics. You should have a goddamn petting zoo.
Everything about this opening screen screams sanitized groupthink, distilled to the point that there's not a speck of creativity left in the mixture. There's no thought put into this character creator. It's a checklist for what you need to put in your character creator. When I see body type A, body type B, I cringe deeply at the lack of effort put into just this small portion of the game. And that's after playing the game. In Cyberpunk, you don't even get to Night City before it starts throwing meat around. Except in its case, Cyberpunk brings you into its world from the launch screen. So instead of coming off like an afterthought decided by the marketing team or some third-party organization, when it asks you to choose your pronouns, it just asks you to make your character. Are you male or female? Editor's note, Cyberpunk doesn't even ask you if you want to be male or female. It just asks if you want a masculine or feminine voice type. It just says choose your body type. But it's subtle, you know? And did you want a massive uncut hammer or no? It let you choose everything about V just like you would create any other character in any other game. It just gave you the extra option as opposed to locking your genitals to your gender. It even gave you no genitals, or just underwear if you think subtlety is sexy. Representation is important regardless of who you are, and in games that you have the ability to create your character, you should have the ability to feel represented in your gameplay if that's what you want. But your identity shouldn't be a product or a gimmick for the marketing team to AI generate word vomit ad nauseum about. While Cyberpunk had a really bad, near unforgivable release, that gate kept some of the most fun experiences I've had playing video games. Starfield is a soulless cash grab made for people to play with as much thought and introspection as was put into it, not much. If you made it this far into the video, maybe you agreed with it a little bit. Hit the subscribe button. You can undo that later, but just do it for now. Just get it out of the way. It's gonna happen eventually. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna creep up on you. Too long didn't read. Adding the ability to choose your gender in whatever manner you choose to express that in a game is just as basic as choosing the skin color of your character. It's really all there is to it. Anyway, bye.
That's the only reason I wanted to use it, or maybe it was that I was eternally oppressed.